always a phenomenal time that I have here on the Power Transformation Podcast when I can interview people of all types of backgrounds, but more importantly, when I can interview people that are either friends or it seems as if I've known them for many years. And this guest is no exception. And I'd like to welcome the phenomenal, incredible Dr. Heather Tucker to the Power Transformation Podcast. Welcome, Dr. Heather.
Oh my goodness, Alethea, thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be here with you today, sis. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to have you. I've been looking forward to this. And Dr. Heather is so incredible. I had been sitting here trying to even figure out how we connected and met. I don't even remember right now. We could talk about that afterwards. But I don't even remember. It just seems like I've known her for a while. I think we were introduced through someone introduced us, but I can't even remember. But the point is, when I meet people like that, it is so uncanny that it's as if, yeah, I'm supposed to really connect with this person, and that's happened. And so Dr. Heather is doing some amazing things in her life, and she has such a phenomenal story to go along with it. But before we get into her business and more importantly, her journey, I always like to start with a fun, lighthearted icebreaker question. Now, Heather and I are both from Southeastern VA. She's more from the Eastern Shore part, but it's still in the same proximity, Southern VA. And one thing for those of you who are listening and have never been over here, you will be surprised that it can be like a tropical island place at times because of how humid it can be. So we've had some hot temperatures over the last few days at the time of us recording this. And so my question for you, Dr. Heather, is when you think about summertime, what is one of your most favorite summertime activities and why?
Oh, this is such a great question. Such a great question. Thank you for asking it.
Of course.
It's interesting because, we had a tough winter. Like, I don't know about you, but I felt like it was a tough winter. And I love the springtime because everything's blooming, everything's transforming, everything is growing. And then when it gets to spring, it's like the fire and the nights are passion, right? And I love spending time out in nature. So for me, one of the things that we started doing as soon as the season started is on the weekends, we're spending some time out in nature. We're going to nature walks. We're spending time at the beach. Like that's the biggest thing that I feel like is calling even more now. And that is my favorite activity, that quality time outside, embracing all of the fullness of the sun, because again, we're getting ready to go after that in the fall and winter.
Yeah.
So soaking all that in so it lasts all year long.
Exactly. And with it still technically as of May, when we're doing this, it is still spring and we know summer is right around the corner, but yes, fall comes. And one thing I've always liked about being an East Coaster is that despite global warming and climate change, we still get to experience seasons changing. They may look a little different than how it was when we were growing up, where trees were much more colorful and changed quickly in the fall. But we actually get to see how seasons change, and that can be aligned to even our own lives. Our lives have springs, summers, falls, winters. And certainly with what you do in your business, you definitely address the multiple seasons of life that your clients, your customers, the people in general experience. But before we dive into a bit more about what you do and how you got there, answer this for us. Who is Dr. Heather Tucker?
Who is Dr. Heather Tucker? I want to say, thankfully, like what's coming to me right off the top of my head is the queen of my own dominion, the queen of my own world, like this, and that loves to be able to connect with other queens and other kings. And the word that's coming to me is being the change that I wish to see in the world, that authenticity, that transparency, that love. It's like the thing about aloha, you can't buy it or sell it. You can only live it. And there's a difference between like the surface level love that we can be able to experience versus this deep level, unconditional agape love. So why am I the queen of my own unique dominion? Is because I am first and foremost a child of the Most High God. And
Mm,
as his daughter, this journey that he has taken me through with business and life, whereas it's seasons where I'm like, oh my goodness, what in the world is happening? How everything works together for our good. And, I want everybody to be able to experience the love and the light and embracing the uniqueness and the joy that they really are. It's interesting that you mentioned about seasons because, we used to live in Florida. Well, I'm from Virginia and then went to
mhm,
Florida. And in Florida, you have mild changes to the seasons. And then we moved back up to Virginia. And it was interesting because I recognized that when there is a shift in the seasons externally, it is also it forces us to be able to have a shift internally. And
mm,
we can be able to go with the transition
mhm,
and the shift in the cycle, or we can like go through it like resistantly, grudgingly, right? So I'm all about going with the wind as compared to fighting against it because it will
mhm.
always blow in the season and the direction, especially as I stay connected and embracing who I am, who I'm called to be, knowing who I am, and enjoying where I'm going. And I'll just leave it
Mm.
at that.
I like that. I like that a lot. And it's so interesting. Take it for what you may, or even the audience, if there's skeptics, hey, it is what it is. But this morning, this is no kidding. So I was coming out of the shower and I was prepping for my day. Clear as day in my spirit, I heard, be the change you wish to see in this world.
No way.
So serious. And it kept repeating over and over and over. And I was going, and I had to take my dad to a doctor's appointment. And I was thinking, maybe that's what I need to do my next live video on. But I said, I don't know. And so you saying it, it makes total sense now. So this is, ooh, that's incredible. I'm really excited
Because
about
that,
it.
what's really cool is because when we become the change, and this is why I talk so much about winning your inner world to master your outer world, it changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of
Yeah.
goes into this. I don't know if you ever heard this story really briefly, but it was a woman and she went off to go to try to save the world and change the world. And she got frustrated because the world wasn't changing. And then she's like, well, let me just change my community. And then she got frustrated because the community wasn't changing. Well, let me just change my family. How many of you have ever recognized, I just want to change my family? And then she got frustrated because the family wasn't changing. And it wasn't until she was on her deathbed that she realized, man, if I had just changed, everything
Mm-hmm.
would have changed around me. And that's exactly the beauty of the power that we have as human beings, as the ones that have this calling. When we own that fully and we let that light shine in that authenticity,
Yeah.
everything else shifts around us, which is
Yeah.
cool.
And instead of waiting around for others to make that change for us, definitely do it. I still may have to do that live video. And so
Do
this
that.
has been absolutely incredible of learning more about who you are. And if you could just briefly, in 60 seconds or less, just tell us briefly in terms of professionally, what
Professionally,
do you
yes.
do? What do you do?
Yes.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. So I specialize in business and life harmony success coaching
Mhm.
because it really is two sides of the same coin. We never want to get so busy making a living that we forget to make a life. And it is
Mhm.
possible to work smarter, stress less, strengthen our relationships, and lead with much more energy, ease, and momentum so that we can increase our confidence, our
Mhm.
calm, and our client and cash flow. It is so much better that way of being able to operate with more energy and less effort and more
Mhm.
and beautiful receptivity of that versus all the effort, 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 little energy. and then little result, because it's always the energy behind everything. So I have a professional training and coaching company. I work specifically with women entrepreneurs and coaches, because really a lot of times where it's those mental and emotional internal blocks that can get in the way of our success. And
Mhm.
one of the things that I've cultivated is how to support people in creating a healed heart, a renewed mind, working on one accord, and they're really able to stand grounded in their skin like the lighthouse leader that
Mhm.
they are, and shine their light and share their message and be their amazing queen self, um, on all sides of life. So yeah.
Yes. Yes, I love that. I absolutely love that. And I've seen the work that you're doing, and I've even been grateful enough to have had a session with you that was totally transformative. And it begs the question to, in a sense, go back because a person can hear this and say, wow, she's very spot on and clear as to what she does and how she helps. And this whole concept of business and life harmony is different and it's powerful because you hear about life coaching and business coaching, but to have the two come together for business and life harmony, that is such a different concept that frankly I've never heard of until I met someone like you. So let's go back to this. Is this type of field or area, this particular area that you knew you always wanted to go into, or how did you decide to come about making this not only your business, but more importantly, transforming the lives of women in this way?
Mm. I want to take it a little bit back to the journey even before I started the business.
Sure, yeah.
So,
Mhm.
um, one of the things I grew up, I was actually the baby. We talked about being the
Uh-huh.
baby and had older siblings. And when I grew up, I knew I was always different, right? Like I didn't know what it was. But I knew that I would feel emotions more than other people. I was
Mm,
very sensitive to energy and I couldn't understand why. And I also grew up feeling like my mind and my heart were divided. There were so
mm,
many significant emotional events that weren't in my control, maybe some of them that were in my control, that just caused a lot of heaviness in the heart, a lot of the overwhelm in the mind. I had a lot of anxiety, right? Like I used to think that people weren't safe. So this is one of the reasons why I went into computers. So I'll share with you, like as I got my PhD at 27, my dream job at the Army at 28, and I was really great in focusing on what I'm skilled in and what I can do. What I was not so great at was my intimate relationships with other people, even
mm,
being able to even friendships and stuff. It always would bring some sort of overwhelm or internal feeling like it's hard. It's like not safe to be me. I don't know if
mm,
this makes sense. But when I was working for the Army, so this is what I did. What did I do? Looking at the wheel of life, there was so much stuff going on in life in addition to family and all that stuff. I was easily overwhelmed. So what did I
mm.
do? I focused more on working. Okay,
Oh.
working is the thing that I could control. And so I ended up, even though I was working full time for the military, I ended up having like a couple of side jobs, which was really cool. Things that I wanted to fill my passion. You know how you can reach the epitome of success externally, and internally there's just not this happy joy
Mm,
feeling. And I felt like something was missing. My passion was teaching. My passion was being of service to other people. So I found other things and even though I was scared of people. So
mm,
interesting how that happened. And so, why I share this is because one of the things that I craved was work-life balance. Man, I can't tell you how many times I said, I just want work-life balance. I have no
yeah.
balance, but yet I'm creating a lot of the pressure on me because we have a goal that we want to achieve. So I want to fast forward to realizing that I wanted more peace on those areas of life. I got married, we have some kids, I'm doing my business. And it's interesting, guess what? We go into entrepreneurship thinking, oh, freedom, yes.
Oh.
However, we end up working so much as well in the business that even these lives, it could be disharmony on the life side too. Now, let's just factor in caregiving, losses of family, sick family members, sick ourselves, like all of these things. And one of the things that happens is we can put blinders on and focus on the things that we're good at and that we can control. And
Mm-hmm.
we can kind of neglect these other areas of life. And I realized that is not the way for total life and business satisfaction. We're
So
called to
really
have peace on
quickly,
all sides.
let me just briefly interrupt. How did that apply to your life? In what areas did you notice that you were having blinders on? Because
Oh, yeah.
here you are at this point now, a wife, a mom. So obviously something good happened in that area of re relationship that, turned from a friendship to a romance and a marriage. So you're the wife, the mom, everything. But while you have this epiphany of your business, what specifically is something that you saw had blinders on that really needed to be exposed?
Okay. So it brings me back to when I first discovered coaching, right? I
Oh,
always had this part of where I wanted to help other people.
uh-huh.
Right. And so, when I left the government, my parents were like, what in the world are you doing? You permanent six-figure position. It's just going to get
Uh-huh.
better. Why would you leave? So a lot of people were saying, stay where you are. And then God is saying, go this way. You ever had that where a lot of people are saying, go stay where you are, and then
Mm,
God is saying, go this way. And I
mm,
could feel that tug of war inside. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to follow God because clearly he's going to take me where I need to go.
that's right.
And I went into coaching. And what was the shift that made me realize the power of this work was that, you know, really the power of coaching. When we're
Mm.
supporting other people, there's also an opportunity to be able to support ourselves. And there's always a
Ah.
message in every conversation. And then it was also this part where not only was I building this business, early on, one of the things that happened, these significant emotional events, is what really caused it to kind of spark was, we were on this journey. My husband has a widowmaker heart attack. He almost passes
Oh,
away.
that's serious.
And,
Wow.
it was interesting because we're also a blended family. My older son, he's been living with us since he was a year and a half. But
Hmm.
then we go on the journey again, and oh my goodness, another significant emotional event happens. It happens again, right? So it was all these significant emotional events where it's like, okay, here I am rising. And then all of a sudden something happens and it causes my energy and my
Hmm.
emotions and my heart. Like, I'm in that fear, right? And okay, here I am shining again, and something else happens. So I got tired of this, the ups
Ah.
and downs. And so I was like, God, there has to be another way. There has to be another way to be able to deal with this because one of the things that's happening is creating paralysis, is creating fear, is creating procrastination.
Hmm.
I can't solve the things that are work, solve the things that are happening inside, but I can control how I respond. And that is the
Yeah.
biggest thing. So I'm like, all right, well, we got all this emotional roller coaster. How can I shift how I can respond within me? And that had been the essence of my life work. It's like, how can I create this peace on all sides where even if a significant emotional event happens, there's not this dip down in my energy. There's this, all right, God, what is is there anything I'm supposed to do in this? Okay, cool. Is this your thing to deal with? Okay, cool. And I can
Hmm.
keep continuing to go and staying focused with also having that expanded awareness. Why this was something of this past weekend or Mother's Day weekend, we went to see The Lion King.
Hmm.
And a lot of us have seen the story of The Lion King or the movie, but this is something that spoke to me so wisely was the whole phrase of Hakuna Matata.
Mm.
So, okay, the significant emotional event happens, the loss of his dad, and then he runs away, and then he meets Timon and Pumbaa, and they're like, we're just gonna live Hakuna Matata. So he's in his
Yeah.
own world, living life Hakuna Matata with Timon and Pumbaa, yet his world that he loves is suffering, and he
Yes.
has no conscious awareness of what's going on because he hasn't really resolved or processed what's going on
Uh-huh.
inside. And there was this part where Timon had almost drowned, and then he comes back and is like, um Akuna Matata, we don't have to worry about that. He's like, but you could have died. But it's all good. I'm alive now, right? So it's
Yeah.
like this blinder of like like forgetting about what has happened, and this is it's hard to be present or even to worry about the future. So it's this piece of healing the past and having
Mhm.
peace there so we can be more present, and that allows us to have a bigger vision for the future because
Mm.
we don't have to have a great past to have a great future. I
No,
had to go
indeed.
in order for me to be like here, confidently expressing with a full heart, full body, joy. I had to let go of what was. And that's one of the hardest things is releasing the past from my husband, he's a Purple Heart Marine Corps veteran, and
Mm.
I did a couple of tours. And it's interesting how the body can hold on to that past,
Sure
the
can.
mind, the heart can, and even our energy can. But there is a way to release still keep the memory or keep the lesson in the story, but not have the negative emotional and negative thoughts associated with it.
And what did that process for you teach you about yourself?
Oh my goodness. What did it teach me about myself? It taught me how to let go of any of the things where I felt unworthy,
Oh,
limited,
mm,
scared, betrayed,
yeah.
worried. Like it taught me how to be able to really let go of anger, sadness, fear. Because here's what happens. If we it's almost like and let me complete this first and then go back to step more into love, the fruits of the spirit, joy, patience, peace, excitement,
Hmm.
self-control, forgiveness. That's what it allowed. And actually, what's really cool about it is that it allowed even my body, mind, and heart to feel and be lighter and clearer and more open and like discerning. So I want to share with you like this. You think about like when you're born and you have a backpack, right?
Hmm.
These
Yeah.
happy babies. Have you ever seen a mean baby? I mean, unless they don't get no food,
Yeah,
but usually
exactly.
they're happy,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yes.
Happy, light, and the kids are usually joyful. So the backpack is empty when we're children. Now, as we go older, and then there's these significant emotional events that happen, it's almost like even those negative intense emotions of what's going on and the confusion, uncertainty is adding rocks to the backpack.
Uh-huh.
Unconscious weight that we still, as we get older, we carry around. So the older we get, we can have all these rocks in our backpack. The thing is, it's an unconscious weight that we carry that we don't even know.
Mm.
So here's what we do. We actually release the backpack, take out the rocks, look at them like, oh my goodness, this was a big lesson in learning and letting it go. Because I don't know if you ever seen that picture where there's this little girl holding on to a teddy bear. And then there's God on the other side of her, and
Yes.
he has his hand out,
Uh-huh.
like, and has this big old teddy bear behind him that she can't even see because this
Because
little
she's
teddy
holding
bear is
on. Yeah.
all to the wall. So, okay, oh, like, what did it let go of? Oh, nobody's gonna listen to it. Who gonna parent? Like, why is this? I'm talking about something totally different that is like not
Hmm.
normal.
Hmm.
And like, God, what did you really call me to do this and support people with hope and healing?
Yeah.
Like, so letting all that go to now fully being able to receive that big teddy bear. I'm like, oh my goodness, I am an awesome support system for facilitating transformation. Oh
Exactly.
my goodness. Like I get to be able to support like people stepping into who they're called to be much faster.
Mhm.
So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
And
it not
mhm.
only did it shift my world, it shifted my entire world as well. My children, how I lead, how I communicate, how I express, how I support with aloha and not wanting to
Yeah.
strangle people.
And tell us about this concept of aloha, because when a person hears it, they automatically think, okay, yeah, that means uh,
Hawaii.
yeah, see, yeah, a greeting in Hawaiian, but tell us about how you took this concept on for yourself and how it connects directly to business and life harmony, the concept of aloha.
So no matter how hard other people were on me, I
Uh,
was always harder on myself. I didn't understand this and why that was the case until I actually started teaching and learning about the mind and stuff like that. So
hmm
even if I had like, of anybody who grew up being bullied, like I was bullied, or anybody
Oh,
who like older siblings were like, I can't stand you for being the baby, or even anyone whose spouses were like, I want to strangle you. Like it was all these different situations, or your parent, like the how can I say, like the judgment. So
okay.
it would be like, oh my goodness, I would judge myself even harder, right? It was more of that like self-hate. And this is one of the reasons why I share this, because I could have continued to live like that, been super successful on the outside and doing all the things, but I feel like it would have shortened my life. It would have
Mm,
shortened my life with all of that being, kept in. And also, it would cause me to have like to cut people off, and to just be able to, when we operate out of heart wounds can create blind spots.
yeah,
And it was hard to really be able to see the bigger picture. So, and of course, in coaching, we only need to be a couple of steps ahead of the people that we support, but I wanted to be able to have to be that true, authentic mirror for my
yeah.
clients, right? And
Wow.
in order for me to be that true, authentic mirror, it was important for me to be clear, healed, healthy, happy, and whole. Now, the thing about aloha, and yes, a lot of people think it means hello, I love
Hello.
you, goodbye.
Yes.
I can say all that, and that's true. I usually start off, aloha, Dr. Heather Tucker here.
Uh-huh.
Um, it means so much more than that. It means truthfulness. It means light. It means unity.
Wow.
So a lot of times, even, and this is one of the things that's so very funny, is that um that part about unity. I think sometimes, especially people with heart wounds, and remember I said I would like it would be so easy for me to just cut off somebody and go to the,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Exactly.
I'm cutting off a part of myself when I do that. And I hear several of my friends and recently who have shared that they're going through a divorce and separation, and I'm
Oh,
like,
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah.
yeah, but what they don't realize is they're also cutting off a piece of themselves. See, each person, there's a unity in each person holds the piece to the masterpiece. And when we can see the beauty and the unique and the pieces of like the bigger picture of what's
Mm.
going on, then we have that realization like, oh, okay, we can come from love. So that part about oneness, it
Hmm.
means patient perseverance on the path. A lot of times we want the destination to happen. Like, I want this should have been, this should have, this, here's what I hear. This business should have been successful by now. This relationship should have been healed by now, right?
Hmm.
I should not be dealing with all of that. And it's interesting because it's the frustration and energy. It's always the energy behind the emotion that actually impacts the action of the emotion. All of that energy, when we're operating in that, then it leads to more separation.
Because it works against each other. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Correct.
It
And
does.
aloha is being able to see, even when two worlds unite, how to be able to understand and create the new one, or see even the bigger picture
Yeah.
and coming together.
Mhm.
Like, so, and a lot of times, what I've heard from some people after their separation, years later, they end up attracting another partner with the same, like, have you ever found like there was a pattern of same person, just different face, or like
Mhm.
it's all of these things, and they realize, man, if I would have seen a different part of the picture. So I in the scenario, why I say this is because it is where we can focus on one area of life and can ignore the other. But
Mhm.
everything that God has brought us to is about understanding the bigger picture and having it work together and being the change to support it in working in harmony. So, one of the things that happened that I mentioned, I've seen one or talked to one of my friends who got separated, and she thought, okay, now that I'm free and there's immediate relief from this situation, I'll be able to focus and expand my business. It
Mm.
doesn't work that way.
Mhm.
It doesn't work that way because you kind of put like a lightning storm on your house.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
so then it was all this unresolved things. So I haven't seen her share her business, shine her message.
Wow.
So those are the pieces, and this is why I talk about business and life harmony. I want people to know that it is possible to be able to create peace on all sides. It is possible to be able to heal the past, to live in the present, to have a bigger vision for the future, and also to be able to be in this place of gratitude and openness. So therefore, you can fully receive and own and embrace and embody all of the divine inheritance that is waiting for us. I'm talking about money, lots of love, lots of time, lots of fun, lots of freedom.
Mhm.
It starts with the true entrepreneurial freedom starts with the inside out.
And going back to what you said earlier about being the change that you want to see in the world, thinking about this concept and just your business in general of business and life harmony, how are you ensuring as the leader, as the founder of this brand, as the builder, as the creator, as the innovator of it? How are you ensuring, Dr. Heather, that it's almost with that follow the leader concept? How do you ensure that you are the number one example for this? So, how have you seen it show up even in your own life?
Oh, this is so good because the energy trickles down from leadership, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's interesting. A lot of times we can resist our leadership, right? Or we can play small. Um, but we're called to be able to play big and not from this place of stress or overwhelm, but this place of like beautiful aloha fun. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, I mentioned the word, there's much more to the word aloha, but you hopefully got a nice sample of it.
Mm-hmm.
This is where there's co-create. This is why connection, mastery is the super important. Being connected on a 20, like a lot of times people think, going to church on Sunday, that's connection. No, connection, regardless of where you are, it should be an ever present 24/7 thing. And recognizing that this is a co creation with God. All right, God, we're co creating our business, we're co creating our life. And it goes to the scripture that my grandmother would put in every card. This was her favorite scripture. And it talks about surrendering. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding.
That's
In
right.
all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight.
Yeah.
Proverbs 3, right? 5 and 6. What happens is if I would have gotten caught, like this is one of the reasons why I talk about the mind and the heart so much, and I focus on the healing from the mind, heart, body, and energy, because the enemy will love to prey on our negative emotions. And a lot of times those are our thoughts, our
Mm-hmm.
emotions, our feelings. So when we're operating with those decisions or making decisions out of that density, they may not be the best decisions. So what I've learned, and this is why I talk about energy as well. So really being able to be connected to what is my energy saying? What is God's energy saying? What is the part of, how does my mind, heart, body feel on this? I want it to be in alignment on one accord. That's the best way to be able to lead a team. Because, okay,
Mhm.
you ask like, how did this come to be? It's one thing to deal with our own mind, thoughts, emotions, and energy. But as we have more people in our world, we're also dealing with their mind, thoughts, emotions, and energy. And emotions and energy are contagious, right? So, like, have you ever, like, someone has been frustrated or stressed around you, and you could feel that stress, and sometimes it can ignite a little bit of frustration or stress in
Mhm.
you?
And sometimes
Well,
I just gotta walk away. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
right? Well, just like those negative emotions and stress and stuff are contagious, so are the emotions of love.
That's
So
right.
are the emotions of joy. So when there is, which is actually even more infectious, and that can radiate out.
Mm.
And that's
Mm.
how, so leading from that place is so much better because then you're able to understand and appreciate and see where other people's minds, thoughts, and energies are and not be impacted by it. Because
I
we're
love it.
called to continue and, you know, be this light. We're not blown away. So it actually goes into my analogy. I just want to share a couple pieces of it. I have these strategies that can support biz life harmony. And the W, it spells out the word world. The W stands for what's the battle? Is it internal? It can be internal voices or even external forces. Well, you got to understand where the battle's coming from, and then you can start winning the war,
Yeah.
winning the battle.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I
It
don't even know if
does.
I answered your question. I was
It
just
has to
going
be
with
you. So in transparency, you kind of sort of didn't answer it, but it made sense what you see.
you may have to repeat the question, girl. It's still early.
No, it's fine. No, what I was getting to, but the answer's fine. It's not about right or wrong. It's how you're led. It was
yeah.
more so specifically how you see these concepts in your own life, but it's okay because we're almost out of time actually because this conversation has been so good, but it still makes sense. Whoever needs this is going to need it. It's not like it was right or wrong. So I don't want you being concerned about that.
No,
But
this is
I do, yeah, but it's flowing well. But be before I ask you a closing question, I wanted to pause here and to just give you a chance to share with people who are intrigued by this because this concept is very intriguing and there are people that need there are women entrepreneurs out there who need this business life harmony and just people in general too. There might be a person that says I don't really have a business but maybe I can talk to her about just how to get more life harmony and you could have a conversation or talk to them about it. And so how can a person connect with you if they want to learn more? Where can they find you? Do you have a podcast yourself? Are you writing books? Do you have events? Tell us all of that.
okay. So before I answer that question, I just wanted to complete the part on the other side. The other question was becoming the captain of your ship, the master of your fate, and owning that. Because every single thing that you've gone through, everybody who's listening, maybe y'all have gone through significant stuff. Like I know I've been through a lot of crazy stuff. If you've been through a lot of crazy stuff, there's always a message in the mess, and there's always a part of the journey that you're on that's supporting you and where you're called to be. Like I didn't go into coaching just willy-nilly. I saw the significant emotional things that were happening in my community. And I'm like, how can I do something different about this? Just by asking the question, where am I called to go? How am I called to lead that? And then paying attention to the answer. So, where can you find more information about me? At go to our website, anotherlevelliving.com. And we're also on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn. And we do have a show. It's called the Freedom Friday Show. And it's called to be able to support entrepreneurs in achieving success in business and life harmony. And if you go to anotherlevelliving.com, I would highly recommend downloading my 7 secrets to more business and life harmony success. That is right there on the homepage. And I will send you that information and you can be able to stay in the know with my world.
That is wonderful. And it just dawned on me, my you interviewed me on Freedom Friday, and my free gift and everything is done and it's ready, but I forgot to email your assistant. So
Yes, please make sure you email
so
my
I'm going to
assistant.
email her. It just dawned on me where I said, "Oh my goodness, I've gotten everything done and I need to email her." But I will. But as we come to a close here, and I could talk to you for forever. You already know that. But as we come to a close here, in just maybe 2 minutes or less, address the concept for a person who may say, okay, I want to live out this aloha in my own life, but how do you do it when the people around you may not be contributing to me having that business and life harmony that I seek? So, how is this possible even to apply or do with people who don't do right by you? Or is it just a hopeless situation? How would
Oh
you
my
address them
goodness. This is such a good
in
question because I
about two
remember,
minutes or
yeah,
less? Yeah, I know.
okay.
Mhm.
I remember that. I remember being blown away by the energy and the negative thoughts of almost like I feel like there were energetic daggers for even the people that I love the most, right? And what I realized in this journey, so one thing I want you to know is when there's no enemy within, when there's
Mm.
no enemy within you, nothing externally can touch you.
Yes.
All challenges have resolution and they start with you. Where it's so funny how when those situations happen, like you may feel unsupported, appreciated, nobody knows what's happening. The beautiful thing is the vision wasn't given to you or to them, it was given to you. So when we are operating by what other people's thoughts and opinions are or situations are, it actually takes our power away. What my work is supporting people and really stepping in and reclaiming their unique divine power, because the only person's opinion of you that matters is God's opinion of you and your opinion of you. And everything else is just like gravy, you know?
Mhm.
Um, so is this part of you don't have to have a great past to have a great future? I have been to the part where, feeling hopeless, unsure, overwhelmed, pressured, feeling like I'm operating like a cramped ball to now knowing, wow, I actually had a part in that. Somebody can't make you angry unless you choose to let them make you angry. This sounds so weird because at first, like normally, our thoughts are to be able to just take on that and get offended. The mind and the heart can be easily offended. That is the part that you want to be able to shift
Yeah.
because you have a power of how you choose to feel, how you choose to respond. And that is the piece that it's like, oh, okay, cool. I've been giving my power away so much. Now let's interrupt the pattern. Now let's be able to change it. Now let's be able to focus, releasing all the energy from other people, places, situations, connect to God's energy, and let hit that energy fully embody and override and work with you. And then you just operate. What does the queen do? She's there. She's like, this is who I am and this is how I serve. And here are the people that are in my village. And it's just a beautiful thing versus being blown away by the situations that are like even think about what's happening externally at a state level at uh um a country level, even at a world level. All of those challenges are there, but and there's always a lot of stuff to do. The question is, how do we want to be while we're doing it? Are we going to be taking all of that in? Or are we going to be operating from the inside out and actually getting and putting our message out there and being the best lighthouse leader we can be with fun and with light and love?
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Power Transformation Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow or subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, and write a review. It helps us inspire even more listeners. And don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who could use a little power in their transformation. Until next time, keep bouncing back, keep rising, and be good to yourself and to others.